Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to have a look at what I personally think is the top 5 British tanks. Yes, we are going to run through them. We're going to go through, obviously, the British tanks, the American tanks, maybe the German tanks, and maybe we'll see what else. But today, we are having a look at what I think is the top 5 British tanks in the game. And first up, we've gone for the Centurion 7-1. Now, I've gone for this mainly because of its medium. It's a great medium tank at that, and it's got that beautiful hesh. Yes, the beautiful hesh is fantastically fun. Now, this was a hard choice between this and the FE4202, but I went for this because it's got the same gun. However, it is one tier lower than the FE4202, so I had to really go for this. It does have a turret as well. It's got quite a strong turret. However, it can be penetrated if you're not in the right position. But yeah, I think for me, the FE4202 is probably more fun to play because it is a bit quicker. It's like 10 kilometers an hour quicker, but I couldn't base that just on the speed. You know, this has the same gun, it has the same hesh, it has the same hesh pen, except for that you're going to be coming up against tier 8s, whereas if you are playing the FE4202, you're only going to be coming up against tier 9s and tier 10s, so it's not going to be all your shots that are going to be able to penetrate. However, with this, if you come up against tier 8s, you can pen a lot of these tanks frontally. So that is why I had to go for this tank. Now, moving on to my next tank in this list. Now, the next tank, first of all, I do have to apologise for this replay. As you can see, it is a bit bugged with this map. I don't know why it's like this. It wasn't like this when I was playing. It's just, maybe it's my new phone and I've got something wrong switched on. I don't know whether it's the graphic that I've got on. I think it is. I think I have to turn the graphics down for this. I'm not 100% sure. But ignoring that, going back to the tank, the Action X is one of the best tier 8s in the game. So I could not add this tank in my best British tanks. The Action X is definitely up there amongst the best British tanks in the game. So I think this was a very, very good choice to add this into the top 5 tanks. It's everything about the tank is really, really nice. It's got good DPM, the speed's okay, it's got good armor, the turret is fantastic. However, it does of course have some weak points. But I just had to add this tank because it is a fantastic tank. And as I've always said, one of the best tier 8s. Now, the next tank on my list, and to be honest, this might shock some, but it's a tank that for me had to be there. And again, the best thing about British tanks is the hesh. Honestly, the best thing about British tanks, of course, is the hesh. That is why a lot of people want to play these British tanks. And when you can do almost 500 damage per shot with the hesh, then that is extremely, extremely good. Now, the Charioteer, a lot of people don't really like the Charioteer, but it is a difficult tank to play. It is a tank destroyer. It doesn't feel like a tank destroyer, and to be honest, you should not play it like a tank destroyer. However, it's got no armor whatsoever, but the gun, again, it's almost just about the same gun as the FE4202 and the Centurion, except for it is a tier 8. You do have that speed boost as well, so you can go a little bit quicker, and honestly, I think without that speed boost, this wouldn't be as good of a tank that it is. It is a fantastic tank, and in fact, when this tank was first released in the game, it was absolutely broken. The reload was about 5.2 seconds. Yeah, it was literally the exact same gun, kind of, as the FE4202, but in tier 8. It honestly was absolutely brutal. But yeah, Wargaming obviously soon nerfed the tank. But however, even after the nerf, it is still a fantastic tank to play. You just need to be careful to not get shot because, yeah, you've got no armor. People can HE you. But again, I just had to add this tank in this top 5 because it is a beautiful tank, especially with that Hesh. You can deal a lot of damage per shot, and even 7.6 reload with the adrenaline and 9.2 seconds reload, it honestly isn't bad at all. And when you could do shots like that into the hatch of a Tankenstein, absolutely brilliant. And it's fun when you do high damage shots like that. It really is. So this game, obviously, I had to go to around the side of them, and that's where you want to use as much Hesh as you possibly can. And again, you're going to get behind here, you're doing 456 damage. Like, that's minimum amount. You could do a lot more damage than that. So we're going to try and shoot this Scorpion, and again, for over 400 damage. So it is an absolutely brilliant tank when played correctly. The next tank on this list, now this was a very difficult one to add, because there was either this or there was the Super Conqueror. And to be honest, the Super Conqueror is fantastic. You know, the turret is fantastic. But I just had to go with this, not only because it has better DPM than the Super Conqueror. It honestly looks better. It's just a fantastic tank. It looks amazing. I mean, it really does look amazing with the royal camouflage. It's got better DPM, and I think it goes a bit quicker as well. The speed is nice. And I just had to add it. It's got a very nice turret. However, you do have that hatch on top that is quite weak. But yeah, the Chieftain Mark 6 is definitely a fantastic tank. However, obviously there are small things about the tank that are not so great, with the hatch on top being one of them. But overall, it is a fantastic tank and definitely deserves to be on this list. Moving on to the last tank on my top 5 British tanks in the game. Now, I have gone with the Badger. Yes, probably at the moment one of the best British tanks in the game. Not just the British tank, one of the best tanks in the game. Ever since Wargaming buffed it, you know, the DPM is absolutely fantastic on the tank, It's got great armor when in the right situation, and on top of that, it now has some traverse. So you put all them together, it honestly makes for a fantastic tank. If you come out sideways, don't expect to bounce. Obviously, you're not going to bounce, so just be careful with that. But yeah, with the DPM, the armor profile, the traverse now, the speed isn't that bad. It's bad enough, but it isn't like really bad. And you can, of course, you can bounce almost anything that comes your way when you are in the correct position. So at the moment, with the DPM that this has got, the traverse that this has got now, I definitely had to add this tank. And when you can do shots like that, 5.75 into the side of the TVP, you got to remember this does have Hesh as well. Not the kind of Hesh that the FV4202, the Centurion, the Charioteer that has got. But it's the same kind of Hesh as the Chieftain, etc. So it is definitely one of the best tanks in the game currently after that buff. So this is my top 5 British tanks. I hope you agree. I hope you don't. Some of you don't agree. It will be nice to see your opinions. Do you agree with some of my tanks? If not, what tanks would you add in there for the top 5 British tanks in World of Tanks Blitz? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all very soon. Bye-bye. With